The Cool Check-In.
Together, we are the duo known as Jalen and Jacoby. What do we do?
We give the people what they want.
Jalen Rose, last night I'm watching the Pacers take a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter against the Celtics. I said to myself, they're going to lose this game. Somehow, some way, they're going to lose it. This is going to lose. I told my friends, they're going to lose this game. And guess what? They lost the game. The Celtics came back, held the Pacers scoreless for quite some time, went on a big run. Irving was balling, hitting clutch shot after clutch shot, a couple of big threes. Jason Tatum himself was playing well with this little putback you see right here. Jalen, Irving and Tatum took 46 of the Celtics' 84 shots. Is that the right balance? Is that the recipe for success?
No.
Ooh.
No. Can't have two guys taking almost 50% of the shots.
More than 50%.
On a talented team like this. In a lot of dynamics, that work. In Portland, that works. In OKC, that works. In Houston, that works. Not with the Boston Celtics. And so when you're going against an Indiana Pacer team that's without their best player and Victor Oladipo, I've talked about this since the playoff seeding started to happen. The best thing that could have happened for the Celtics was to face the Pacers.
Yeah.
So that now it seems like they're playing a lot better than they really are. They haven't scored 100 points yet in this series.
They were losing both of these games. It's 2-0, but they were losing both these games to a team without an all-star.
And Kyrie was amazing, 37 points. And when you look at the stat sheet, Gordon Hayward was a positive contributor as well. He only had 4 points, Terry Rozier. But his pace, his ability to get them in their offense was huge.
Oh.
He had a great floor game. Now, for Indiana, it's tough for them to get offense, in particular late in games, creating off the dribble. Bogdanovich played well. He led the team in scoring. But when the game gets tight, that's when you're going to miss your best player.
It's a lot of like, they would do a Bogdanovich-Turner pick and roll. Next possession, Bogdanovich-Turner pick and roll at the top of the key. Next possession, Bogdanovich-Turner pick and roll. And if it didn't work, they had to kick it to Matthews or Collison. It just, the whole thing fell apart.
And this is what Indiana does, though. We ain't talking about the players up front for the Celtics. You know why? They was getting locked down.
Oh, yeah, and Turner was blocking everything.
Morris was 0 for 8. None of their bigs in the starting lineup scored over double figures, including Al Horford. Indiana plays D. They had 13 steals.
They play great defense.
But once the game gets tight, even at the last play, highlights it. You're doing a sideline out-of-bounds play.
Wesley.
You're trying to get it to Bogdanovich.
Wesley.
He wasn't behind the three-point line, even if he would have caught the ball.
Yeah, I mean, that was a miscommunication, but also it's like, listen, you're throwing it out of bounds. Maybe a cross-court lob pass over a defender's head isn't the best idea. Like, even it's like, dog, I thought you were doing something else. But like, all right, if I was doing what you thought I was doing, it was still a bad play.
Well, let me tell you what somebody taking the ball out should never do. Pass the ball above their head.
Yeah.
That's always going to be an errant throw.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't throw the ball over 20 yards or whatever, 20 feet if you're taking the ball out of bounds. Just make it. It's in that situation, they're down by 3 with 12 seconds left.
But to your point, though, I like seeing Jason Tatum assert himself.
Yes.
I like to see them establish a pecking order of who's going to be the Celtics' second best player. Is it going to be Hayward? Is it going to be Horford? Is it going to be Brown? You notice that they're trying to make sure that it's Tatum.
And I think that's the right move. But there being 46 of 84 shots, especially with the players they have, seems a little unbalanced. Jalen Rose, it's celebration time in the Jalen and Jacoby studio. The Detroit Pistons won! The Detroit Pistons won! The Detroit Pistons won the first half against the Bucks!
See, I don't want to do this show anymore.
Woo!
I don't want to do this show.
Detroit basketball! They won the first half, Jalen. They won! They went into the locker room with the lead against the #1 seed! Woo!
You guys are so unprofessional.
They won the first half.
They did.
They won the first half. I know you were watching the game. You watch all the Pistons game. They got a W. Do you know that they've got 12 straight, I want to make sure I get this right, 12 straight postseason losses. 12 straight. 2 upcoming in Detroit.
What does my 2 favorite NBA teams have in common this year's playoffs?
They're both down 0-2.
And they're without their best players.
Yeah.
That's what happens this time of year.
Yeah, so I was with my friends watching the game. I was like, Blake Griffin's in this series. This is different.
Correct.
Like Blake Griffin, like very quietly had an excellent year.
I had him third team All-NBA as a forward.
Ooh.
Like, he played terrific this year, and he's improved as a three-point shooter.
Mm-hmm.
So, Detroit did win the first half.
Woo!
In Milwaukee. That's why I'm telling you they're going to win Game 3.
I like it.
In Detroit.
It happens a lot with these series. We've all seen so many 7-game series. The team goes up 0-2, and then they go to the other team's arena. The crowd, they don't feel like they must win the game. A lot of Game 3s get stolen like that.
Andre Drummond, at least 20-20 in Game 3.
Really?
Yes.
Well, they're playing against someone named Giannis Antetokounmpo. I don't know if you're familiar. And you remember Don McClure, that's his real way to say his name. He was on the Bucks, and Giannis just gave him the business right there. And he wasn't done, though. Like, look at this. Look at the strength. He's done that in practice, and this one, too. What are you doing? What do you think about that? When you play against a former teammate like that, like, what's the feeling?
Well, you know their strengths and weaknesses. You practiced against them a lot of time. And just like any professional environment, the person that feels like they're not getting opportunities currently where they are always mumbling to everybody, including teammates, what they would do if they got minutes.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
So now when you go back to play against your former team, that's your chance to show and prove. But the problem is, like you said, he was going against Giannis, and the Greek freak had Thon meet his maker.
It really was. David Griffin spent some time around ESPN, and by all accounts, he's one of the nicest people, great person to hang out with. You know, he's formerly worked with the Cavs, and he is now the executive vice president of basketball operations for the New Orleans Pelicans. During his introductory press conference, he had a very optimistic approach. Let's just listen to Mr. Griffin.
I'm extremely optimistic relative to the opportunity that lies ahead of us in the form of Anthony Davis. Rich Paul and I have spoken about Anthony. We are both excited about what we could potentially build here. You are either all the way in or you are all the way out, and there is no in between. When the measure of success in your franchise is going to be championships and generational excellence, this is not something that we negotiate about. This is not something we make allowances for. This is something that you live every day of your life. And I have every reason to believe Anthony will want to do that.
He gets my vote. Sound like he's running for governor.
Is Anthony Davis all the way in?
Is he running for mayor?
Is he all the way in?
No.
Wait. You mean Anthony Davis isn't all the way in?
No.
What do you mean? He spoke to Rich Paul, though.
No,
he spoke to Rich Paul.
So?
He's got a long relationship with Rich Paul from when he was at the Cavs.
Let me tell you what him and Rich Paul talked about. Anthony still wants to leave.
No, he went to Rich Paul and he was like, remember that contract I gave Tristan? Remember that contract I gave JR? It's time to pay back. It's time to pay back. It's a two-way street. Come on, Rich.
Not going to be able to do it. Can't put that toothpaste back in the tube. And also now it's carried through the fan base. And so once that happens, he's already acknowledged that he wants to leave. They're going to be suitors. What Griffin is doing is trying to make potential trade partners feel like he's not desperate. But it happened before you got there, and there's nothing really Griffin can do about it.
I just, you know what? I respect this. I respect the fact that he's just like speaking right into the microphone, staring the fan base in the eye and saying, I'm optimistic about our opportunity with Anthony Davis. I thought he was going to say I'm optimistic about our opportunity to trade Anthony Davis and get something good back.
Here's what I also anticipate happening. So when you see it at the bottom of the ticker, it's going to be like, wait a minute, that's broken news. Not only will they trade Anthony Davis, they're going to trade one of my favorite underrated guards in the league, Drew Holiday.
It's time for a new day. I think when you hired David Griffin, you say, you know what, we need something new to happen here. So I wouldn't be surprised if that did happen. It is time for What's Your Number?